Hey guys, welcome to this session. Our topic is movement, and we're discussing about the movement of the human body, specifically the human skeletal system. In our past video, we saw the major components of the human skeleton. Said there are four of them: bones, cartilage, joints, and muscles. We had already discussed about the bones, so today we'll move on to the cartilage. Then we will discuss also joints, and then we'll finish up seeing the various importance of this skeletal system. So let's dive into this cartilage. Cartilage, this is the strong, flexible tissue that gives shape to some parts of the body. It's kind of a tissue that can hold up the bones together, and it prevents the bones from grinding against each other between the vertebral cartilage that the disc act as a shock absorbers. So it helps just to allow the movement to be smoothly within the human body. Now we have to notice that before both bones are made, most of the cartilage whose cells absorb calcium after birth to produce bones. So these cartilage are the ones that absorb the calcium later on to produce the bones that are needed by the body. Now let's move on to joints. Joint is simply the point where two or more bones meet. So it's the junction, and it's just a jointing point where it's just a joining point where the two or more bones meet within the body. Now, the human skeleton has about 70 movable joints, and within these movable joints, these joints are grouped according to various types, such as follows. As you can see there's a pivot joint, hinge joint, and the ball and socket joint. So we'll discuss these three of them as kinds of joints that bones meet within the body. Now let's see the pivot joint. This is the type of joint which allows one bone to twist against another. It's kind of a joint that allows movement in several directions. As you can see here in our illustration, in the pivot joint, this is how it shows the movement which can occur. Can either go the upper side or the downward side. So this pivot joint allow movements in several directions. The second one is the hinge joint. That is the joint which allows movement in one direction. Example, an elbow. When you notice to your elbow, you see that your elbow can move only in one direction. That is just up and down. You can't change the direction maybe to maybe the other way. That is reverse. Take an example from illustrations here. This is a hinge joint. It means it has only one direction movement. You can't change the direction of this movement. You can even practice by using your elbow. The other kind of joint is the ball and socket. The ball and socket joints, they include such as the shoulder and the hip joints, which allow backward, forward, sideways, and the rotating movements. So these ball and socket joints are the ones that are very flexible. As you can see here in our illustration, ball and socket joint, you can see there is various directions in which this kind of joint can allow movement within the joint. Now let's see the various functions of skeleton. Functions of skeleton include as follows. The first one is that the human skeleton provides the mechanical support for the body. So the body without the skeletal system, it cannot withstand maybe tension, and it cannot enable that body to stand. So it's just there to help the body as to support it, and to protect it from various tensions, and to enable it to be able to walk and have movement. That is the other. function of the skeleton. The second one is that protection for the internal organs. Take an example, the skeleton of the head, that is the skull, protects the brain while the chest bones protect the soft organs such as the heart. The third function that the skeleton functions as the framework for anchoring the muscles. The muscles are the ones that enable contracting and expanding, enable movement. So without the skeleton, wouldn't be like a framework for these movements. So the last one is that is skeleton together with the muscles function to bring about movement in an organism. So this is just general to compare, like it helps the movement of organism in general. So without the skeleton, we would be missing an important functioning factor. Take an example, if we had only muscles, you wouldn't have the framework for the muscles to be attached on to facilitate the movement within an organism. So I hope it's clear, guys. Thank you for listening. We've discussed the main components of the skeleton system. We saw the cartilage, and then we discussed the joint. We discussed all the types of joints. Then we saw the various functions of the skeletal system in human body. Thank you.